Hey everyone, welcome back to the fifth devlog of Submerged Scoundrels. Before I get started, I just want to say we're only a few subscribers away from 100 subscribers, so if you could hit that subscribe button to follow along with this game, and if you're interested in playing a submarine pirate game that's a lot like Sea of Thieves on Roblox, hit that subscribe button and follow along. But with that, we had a lot of progress last week. We made a PvP mission system, we made a completely new pressure system for the submarine and the player. We added all of the player islands and a bunch of barren islands for the players to explore. And then we also added the leveling system where you can level up with the Scoundrels Association. We did all of that last week, but now let's get into what we did this week, starting off with physics-based movement. Now, what this means is a submarine in the past, the way I had made it work was that everything was static and everything was being moved along not by the Roblox physics engine, but just by very simple equations that I written into a script. And it made it a little bit choppy, it made it pretty weird, and it was a little bit of a glitchy system to work with, and it couldn't handle anything like collisions or anything like that. So I moved on from that system. I buckled down for a day and I got the physics system to work. I made a few different scripts, but it made this really cool system that now it's all physics based. It uses the Roblox physics engine to make the submarine move. It can handle collisions now, so the torpedoes actually work like they're supposed to. And then I use this system for ships and torpedoes that I'll say later in the video. But I think this system is a really cool upgrade and a really great addition. It was recommended by a lot of you guys that I move over to it, and a lot of you guys gave great suggestions of how I should do it. So I really appreciate that. And I really think this is a great improvement. It makes the submarine movement a lot cleaner. It makes it so that the player can actually see a 360-degree view of the submarine when driving, not just that very limited window that you see in the cockpit. But it's a great change. It's a great update. I think it's going to do really well and allow the player to control the submarine a lot better. Then the next thing that I did this week, which I'm really excited for, is I made a fully working upgrade shop. And I did this using Figma. So I went into Figma and I used a plugin that converts whatever user interface I made in Figma and it sent it over to Roblox. And I really like this because Figma is an incredible tool to use for user interface development or any graphical development at all. Whereas the Roblox engine isn't made for that. It has great tools, but there are a lot of things in it that I had no idea existed, and they're a little bit harder to do some of the very basic things like adding a stroke around a frame is very easy in Figma. It's a little bit hidden. I had no idea it existed in the Roblox engine, or even rounding corners. So I'm really glad I was able to find out about this Figma plugin. And if you're interested, I did link a bunch of that stuff in my Discord, so join that down below about where I found this information from. And I think it makes this UI look a lot cleaner than the UIs I've made in the past for the game. I think this shop user interface is probably the best one I have so far, and I'm definitely going to work on transitioning all the other UIs I have so far to this new cleaner style. And going forward, that's what I'll use as well. But with this UI complete, I was able to make it fully functioning with the submarine. It now interacts with the submarine. Every time you buy an upgrade here, it'll go into the submarine and it'll affect those submarine variables. And there's a ton of different variables that can be upgraded across 3 different categories, including your engine, your internal systems, and your hull. So you can upgrade things like your oxygen, torpedo fire rate, how fast you can go, things like that. And this is a great way to add that progression into the game. One of the things I don't like about Sea of Thieves, even though I love the game so much, is that it feels like there's no progression. You start out with the exact same tools and weapons that no matter how far along you've gotten in the game, those are the same ones you're using. They might look prettier, but they're still doing the exact same thing at the exact same level. My goal with this is to add a progression system so that it actually feels like your gold means something, that you can actually spend it on something, and you're going to be spending it on upgrading your submarine. And it gets exponentially more expensive to upgrade it to different levels, but then the reward also gets better as you get a higher level submarine. And in the future, there's been a lot of feedback about it, but there's going to be different types of submarines along with different types of torpedoes and different types of engines. And there's going to be a completely separate shop for that. It's going to be some sort of like mechanic shop where you can upgrade actual parts of the sub or add things into it, add different components into it as well. This was mainly just for the mechanics of the submarine and the submarine variables that are already in place. And then after I got the shop working, I moved on to the second mission that we have. So right now we have the PvP mission, but I wanted to add something if people don't enjoy PvP that they could do, and to grind for resources and loot outside of player combat, and that is the convoy system. Now basically what this is these cargo ships are going to spawn randomly across the map at different points during the game, and they're going to go from a random island to another random island, and at some point during that time Your job is to intercept it and grab the cargo. Each one of these ships uses the new physics-based system that I have, and I made a really cool pathfinding system for them. I spent a lot of time on that. But basically, these convoys are going to spawn, and your job is to hunt them down and sink them. Submarines do in real world and real world combat. Now, I'm going to eventually upgrade these convoys where there are going to be different levels. It might be able to be spawned by a Scoundrel Association mission, and then also adding protection to these convoys so that there's an actual enemy to fight and there's actually a danger to going after these convoys, but also more reward. I think these convoys are a really great addition to the game. They add more for the player to do, and again, making this more like an actual game. We're getting really far along in progress, and there's a lot for the player to do now, a lot for them to gain experience from. Every time you sink one of these ships, you get experience along with any of the rewards from cashing in the loot that you find. But I'm really excited for all these systems that we made this week. We made a lot of progress in making this game playable, in progressing in the game loop, and making it so that this game loop is actually inside of the game. And now, looking ahead to next week's work, let's pull up this classic Trello board that we look up every single week. And if you see, everything inside of Alpha is completely done, which means I'm looking to start testing within the next week. And I'm going to release more information about that as we get closer. But we're really close to testing. And if you want to be a tester for this game, join my Discord in the link below. I'm going to be grabbing people from that to help me test the game and help make it better before we actually release it. And I'm planning to release sometime mid to late July based on the progress I'm making right now. And that can change, and I'll set out an official release date later, but that's the goal right now. But if you look ahead, we're done with the alpha phase, so we have to start looking to the beta phase. And with that, one of the biggest features I hope to get done is the spawn island setup. And that's mainly because once we start testing, I want people to actually spawn at the spawn island, have things to do there, and then be able to go off onto their own separate island and spawn their submarine from there. And then the next system I want to implement is the sound and sonar system. This is a system that a lot of people are interested in, and I think is one of the key parts. If you're making a submarine game, you have to have some sort of sonar or sound system. And so I'm going to be looking at how I'm going to implement that over the next week. And then I'm also going to be looking at different things like the weapon shop, naval bases, engine type, and starting to add creatures to the environment as well. I definitely think I'm going to look into the weapon shop next week, adding things like guns, rifles, pistols, different things that the player can equip, adding to the things they can do, and then maybe adding those naval bases as well to start building up this world. I don't know if I'll touch on the engine type next week or not, but definitely something to look forward to in the future. And you guys are giving me a ton of great ideas, both in the Discord and in the comments. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to respond to every single one I see, and I'm trying to add it to the list of when we eventually release this game. I'm really excited for this. I appreciate all the feedback, all the responses, all of the support I've been getting across the social media pages. So I'm really excited for this game. And if you're excited for Submerged Scoundrels, please follow along, click that subscribe button, and join the Discord in the link down below in my description. If you have any suggestions, any feedback, any comments, please leave that down below in the comments as well, and leave this video a like. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you again in 1 week with hopefully a lot of progress done. See ya.